Hello Internet, welcome to Making Money. My name's Eric and this is your Daily Dollar, our financial segment where I give you one lesson every day to help you reach your financial goals. So we're talking about investments. We're going to continue to talk about investments for a while. The other day we did a video of 12 different types of investments that you can get into right now and start making money. Now we're breaking those investments down to give you a little bit more information, understand how they work, and how you can actually make money off of them. Today we're asking a question, and that question is, are collectibles an investment? This is kind of an interesting question. Now, obviously I put it in my 12 investments video, so in that way, I might be biased. Also, to be transparent here, I do collect myself. I collect trading cards, and I consider it part of my portfolio. But should I be considering it part of my portfolio? Is it an investment, or do I just think it's an investment? We're going to kind of dig into that today. We're going to break down collectibles so you'll understand both sides of this argument, and then hopefully we can land on the answer. In the other video that we did, we had mentioned that a collectible is something that has a perception of value. It has what we call market value, what people are willing to pay for it. And this is unique in a way to collectibles. And it's a quick way to determine if something is a collectible or not. We also talked about that collectibles tend to appreciate due to two aspects, either taste, let's say artwork again for an example. If we have a painting that becomes more popular, that will increase in price. On the other hand, rarity. If something is scarce, has a rarity about it, the rarer it gets, the more expensive it tends to get. So scarcity does tend to be this other driver. We also talked about that collectibles tend to be part under subgroups, right? We have like fine art, sports memorabilia, NFTs nowadays. And I had also mentioned precious metals. Now, yesterday, I said that precious metals were a commodity. So which one is it? Are they a commodity or are they a collectible? Well, the answer to that kind of goes back to the pricing situation. Technically, rare metals and even stocks could be considered collectibles if we price them solely on their market value. Again, what people are willing to pay for them. If that was the only basis of their value, then yeah, technically those would be collectibles. But we know that those items actually have intrinsic value. We have a way to actually measure their value. And because of that, precious metals will tend to fall under commodities, and stocks they're stocks, so they'll fall under that category. But it's the pricing that really allows us to define that. So that's really, again, a really quick rule of thumb that we can kind of turn back to when it comes to collectibles and say, hey, is this a collectible or not? So why is it such a polarizing topic that collectibles are an investment or not? Well, if you are someone who says, no, they are not an investment, there might be a few reasons why you think that. One of the items that gets brought up a lot is the fact that collectibles tend to start off with a high markup. When they appreciate, it's hard to make more money off of them. In my opinion, this is more of it's a difficult investment to make money on than it is a null investment. When we talk about appreciation, antiques are a great example of this. If you go to an antique dealer, prices have already been, or appreciation has already been priced in, right? Yeah, you might buy an item because, of its rarity, you're not able to get it anywhere else, or because you really like it, again, on taste aspect. But if you wanted to buy and then sell it, it would be very difficult for you to make any more money off that. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean you can't do it. And I think this is more of an argument that compares to stocks are high sometimes. It's hard to make money if you're buying a very expensive stock. So in my opinion, that one doesn't hold a ton of water. But nonetheless, it is talked about quite a bit. Another issue is the cost of maintaining and refurbishing collectibles. They tend to turn more into a liability because of this. This holds a little bit more water to it because damage to collectibles, holding these items, it's very difficult to maintain value in an item. That being said, it can still be done. Obviously, collectors do it all the time. And in a way, we had talked about commodities the other day, is if you held, let's say, wheat, you hold poundage of wheat, you could technically use that as an investment. And it would be subject to the same issues, that wheat could get damaged, lost, stolen. But yeah, technically it is still an investment in a commodity. So again, still think this falls under investment for this one, but again, bit of a better argument. The next one's very interesting. Collectibles are one of the only types of investments out there that can be counterfeited. Now, granted, currency is a collectible and that can be counterfeited, but there's few things in the world that really fall for this. Counterfeiting is an interesting subject in general to talk about, but when it comes to investments, yeah, you could be buying a null investment because what you bought is not actually what you thought you were buying. In the case of whether or not that's an investment, though, I think that's just more of a sad consequence to getting into collectibles than it is a proof that it is not an investment. Finally, there is no guarantee that it will turn a profit. But this is also true with other types of investments. Nothing is guaranteed. There is nothing to say that if I put money in this asset, it will appreciate. Yes, collectibles have a much lower percent chance of turning a dollar than other types of assets. However, when they do, they tend to do so at a pretty high rate. But trying to determine what is going to be a collectible and what is not going to be a collectible is really the question there. You could be throwing money away on something that never takes off. If anything, is worth less over time. But again, in my opinion, so is the situation with stocks. So why do people buy collectibles? We've talked about all of these reasons why people think, collectibles are not an investment, but why do people invest in collectibles? Well, first, you can diversify your portfolio, much like we talked about with commodities, with collectibles. And it's an interesting way to do it. You can buy something unlike anything else, any other asset that you own, and that helps you hedge against inflation, for example. In addition, while taste is a very hard thing to quantify, rarity can be tracked. And yes, while we're still talking about market value and not intrinsic value, you can put a number on rarity, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, and as time goes on, those numbers will drop, just because, things are lost, damaged, so rarity will increase over time. So that is an interesting thing. And again, rarity doesn't necessarily equal dollar value, but it does have some correlation to it. So that's something to keep in mind. And then lastly, as I mentioned a moment ago, that yes, while it is very unpredictable, it is possible that a collection can explode in value. And that tends to be a big reason why people collect. I did miss one that I'm just realizing now, and it's the obvious one. It's nostalgia. People love collecting the things that they loved as, when they were younger. I'm collecting cards. Yes, I consider it part of my portfolio, but it's also something that means something to me. Now, the nostalgia aspect means nothing about investments. Just because I care about it doesn't make it an investment. So I do want to add that one in there, but technically it doesn't really fall on the is it an investment or not scale. At the end of the day, is collecting things investing? Are collectibles an investment? I'd be interested in hearing from you guys. Do you think collectibles are an investment? Or do you think that they're just speculating over longer periods of time? I'd be interested in hearing. Feel free to give me your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe we missed a topic that you will bring up that's a good point. As always, I hope you guys are enjoying these lessons. I'm enjoying doing them, and if you are enjoying, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate it, and it keeps you up to date with the videos. You can hit me up on Twitter, link in the description, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. All right, guys, see ya.